So, let's talk about John Wick. He's back, definitely back. John Wick is the titular character of the 2014 Keanu Reeves movie about a hitman dragged back into his line of work, courtesy of the Russian mob. I've not seen any of the Wick films, though that's mostly due to a personal string of bullheadedness. They seem like really enjoyable films, but this review isn't about the movies. This is about the Payday content, and oh boy, there's a lot. The man has 3 DLCs worth of content to his name: a weapon pack, a heist pack, and a free character pack. He's voiced by Dave Fouquet, doing a relatively solid Keanu impression and modeled after some alternate reality strong-jawed Reeves. And the performance is very cool and controlled. It's definitely Wick. But past just the man himself, Wick brought with him, a lot of guns. There's so many. I mean, we've got things like the Shimano Compact
the
Pistol,
Shimano
the Desert
Compact
Fox
pistols,
Sniper
the
Rifle,
Contractor,
the Contractor
Sniper
Pistol,
the Akimbo Contractor
the Jackal
Pistol,
Submachine
the
Gun,
Akimbo Jackal,
the
Submachine
Throwing
Guns,
Knives,
the Ursa
the Hook,
Tonto
the
Knife.
Pen. So let's just light the wick and get to roughing it out with the John Wick build. Let's start, interestingly enough, with his perk deck, Hitman. Hitman is an interesting case. It's an armor deck, but it doesn't affect your armor value, but rather your armor recovery rate, including a built-in failsafe in the event you're being suppressed. Hitman increases your armor recovery rate. By how much? I'm not certain given the multiplicative nature of Payday's perks, but with Shock and Awe included, your recovery rate is dropped from 3 seconds to 1.5. So it's about 50% of the time cut off, or double the rate. Not only does your armor recover faster and can be recovered even in situations where it otherwise shouldn't, but there's a stability and ammo boost to akimbo weapon. Okay. So remember all those weapons, the 2 sniper rifles in particular? Throw them out! We're not using them! Wick's perk deck facilitates dual wielding, which is weird and kind of dumb, seeing as no other perk deck has an explicit weapon qualification. But, that does give us some options still. In this case, I'm packing the pair of pistols Wick originally brought to the game, the Shimano Compacts. Based on the Glock 26, the civilian concealed carry variant of the iconic polymer pistol, the Shimano Compacts have a smaller magazine size and a bit less overall ammo than the Bernetti 9s, but are more compact with functionally similar accuracy, stability, damage, fire rate, and pickup. The downsides here are negligible if you're used to the high-speed light pistol akimbo sets. You can run these just as well as you can run the cross-kill guards, the Bernettis, even the Shimano 88s. I've given mine the IPSC compensator, the micro laser, a laser grip for accuracy, not for its laser, extended mags, and the striking slides. You could take the striking grip, or whatever the lower thing is too, but that cuts into your concealment, and I didn't want to cut into my concealment too terribly much for this build. Why do I have a micro laser and the laser grip? I don't know. Micro laser doesn't affect your concealment, it's functionally there to do nothing, so I don't know. You figure it out. My secondary is another pistol, the Contractor pistol, based on Wick's custom H&K P30L from the films. The P30 is a pistol primarily used by German federal police as well as the Kommando Spezialkräfte serving women. The Contractor is similar to the Crosskill but with a larger starting magazine, a slightly slower reload, and doing just 1 more damage out of the gate. The Contractor's biggest boon is its massive magazine size. Up to 30 rounds can be stored at a time compared to the 27 the Crosskill can hit only after the Butcher Mod Pack 2. Not many mod options exist for the Contractor, though what it still boasts are highly useful. I've given mine the IPSC compensator. There, I've pronounced it both ways. Leave me alone. A micro laser, extended mag, and the tritium sights. Actually, a fun fact, the akimbo variants can also equip the tritiums, which makes them the only akimbo option with a sight offering. The Contractor is slick with deep reserves, and that will serve as our marksman pistol in this build. When we can't just spray and pray and actually need to think through our moves, we've got this gunmetal blue beauty on hand and we can trust it to deliver justice no matter where we need it. My melee could be anything, but I went with the pencil. I mean, after all, John Wick killed 3 men in a bar with a pencil. A f***ing pencil! My throwables are the throwing knives from the weapon pack. They're not unlike the throwing axes, 1100 damage and all, but you get 6 of them instead of 3. The caveat is that the throwing knives have a bit more of a deploy time to them. You can't just chuck a knife like Ron Perlman can an axe. You kind of have to wait a second. But to me, it's a fair trade-off in my book. It's a decent throwable. Just lead your shot a little bit and you're in business. Though this puts us in an odd situation. We had crowd control with Rust and his shotgun. Duke had crowd control with the Grim. But Wick's just got pistols. Without an explosive throwable, it looks like we might be in trouble. Let's just hope that the compacts can turn out enough bullets to take on swarms of SWATs, and we will see how that goes. Light Ballistic Vest is my armor. We've won a decent amount of armor in these builds without any significant movement speed debuffs, so we can get behind cover to regen. The Light Ballistic Vest is my choice. A couple people have issues with the light ballistic vest. 91 armor is a decent amount if you can get it up to 91 armor. It's more than the suit, but it doesn't slow you down like the other ballistic vests. That's why I like it. And now our skills. Wick's got Aced Die Hard, basic Shotgun and Iron Man to beef up the vest, Aced Bullet Storm and Fully Loaded to increase our ammo capacity even more, as well as a boost to our pickup rates, Aced Steady Grip and basic Lock and Load for added mobility and stability, Aced Duck and Cover with basic inner pockets and low blow to give us some added damage and flexibility for getting in and out of combat, an Aced Akimbo Desperado with basic Trigger Happy, Aced 9 lives, and Aced Bloodthirst to round out this build with a lot of pistol skills and some reload speed boosts. Pistols and armor are really my biggest benefactors here, with some crits to keep me topped off, and most of all, fully loaded basic Akimbo and Hitman combined to give the Akimbo pistols a lot of ammo. 400 rounds in the Johnathan compacts. And if you're wondering about some of the other Akimbo totals, here's some fun numbers. This isn't all of them, of course. I just pulled my favorites. 640 rounds for the micro Uzis, 125 for the broomstick carbines, 100 in the judges, 500 in the strikes. Yeah, I mean, everyone knows John Wick, his bottomless pockets, his dual Glocks, his wide, jutting jaw, and who could forget that iconic catchphrase,
"I've arrived once again, for real this time."
In all honesty, Wick's build ain't bad. It's not the best thing I've run, Hitman's really finicky, but the second half failsafe and armor recovery keeps it rather viable on Mayhem. The Johnathan compacts are good crowd control, but not good about getting surrounded. Try to always approach a group of cops in one direction. If you need to turn more than 45 degrees to handle the pack, you should probably make a way out, get your armor recovered, and approach the horde from a different direction. The Contractor is pretty good about handling snipers. It's got really good accuracy, it's got really good damage. The compacts are good about dozers, and the knives are quite alright in any situations where you need to reload, but you can't. But there are two big things that keep this Hitman from hitting. The first one is that Hitman does not do well in heists with high enemy spawns. The Diamond, Henry's Rock, Goat Simulator, these sorts of missions that make grinder builds a lot of fun are hell on a Hitman. You have very few cover options when enemies are kind of just pouring in from all sides, and those you do really only cut down the number of guys shooting at you, and they don't completely give you breathing room. You really don't have many options to recover your armor. You're kind of stuck in a perpetual firefight, which makes Hitman, with no real big armor boosts, a very, very painful perk deck for those types of missions. The second thing that halts Wick in his tracks is going to be Captain Winters. You really don't have many good ways of handling the Captain, as your pistols aren't particularly strong, your armor breaks quickly, and you have no health regen. Additionally, without any explosives or Molotovs, your options for facing Winters really only include circle strafing around him, which makes you prone to getting shot at by other enemies. Now, if Hitman also boosted the effectiveness of, say, sniper rifles, then we could take Grays and the Desert Fox, and sure, we're in business. But as it currently stands, his perk deck favors Akimbo play, which is unfortunate when so many of his options, especially the most interesting ones, are not Akimbo. John Wick's character pack offered us a very reasonable, coherent build at first, but the following weapon and heist packs with their own options don't mesh all too well between the game and the movies. It just makes his arsenal very compact. You really can't take many of these options with Hitman. It's a shame, there's so many cool options here, but at the end of the day, my final verdict is that with the compacts and a good secondary, you can put Hitman to use in a more capable build. And these pieces on their own are decent enough. It's just they do not mesh well together. There are so many great options in the Wick packs, but because Hitman only favors a certain class of weapon, there really is no room to run the sniper rifle. You still could, sure, you've still got the armor regen, but one whole card in his perk deck favors Akimbo play. So if you want to make the most out of Hitman, you're running Akimbo. Wick, you've got so much to offer us, and while we can use it wherever, and we're thankful for what you've given us, that perk deck's boosted to Akimbo really limits our options. This isn't necessarily a plea to change, just, it's something to hold on to really nice and tight, like family and a loving dog. Oh, snap, wait, shoot, If you like this video and you'd like to see more, I'd recommend subscribing. Patreon and social media links are in the description.